we'll go on to the second item. I'm such a low-key person. Those of you who know me really, really, really well know I'm very low-key and not one who needs recognition, except for my wife and family, Will, and everybody in the room. But it's, I'm going to save my remarks until after we go through this council agenda item. So again, I'll turn it to everyone's favorite city manager, Hans Usler.
Yeah, there's only one in the city, so that's the favorite.
What, does that mean who is your, or you're the, what, no, don't bother, go ahead.
Well, I hold the cards here. Yes, thank you so much. We are going into the next phase here of our agenda by recognizing our Mayor Clyde, as you wanted to be called. Mayor Clyde came back to us as mayor in 2014, and that was a particular interesting time for the city of Monterey because at that time the city had special needs, and he was at that time the right person coming into office again. Mayor Clyde was a veteran in public service, being on the council in various roles since 1981, and he had worked in different functions as council member, as mayor, but also as library board trustee and president for a while. And so there are so many things that formed Mayor Clyde's legacy that I will not go over them. What was clear for us as staff was that Mayor Clyde came at a time when he realized also that the relationships between staff and council needed to be improved, and he did just that. And for that, our staff is very grateful because you definitely showed us immediately how you wanted to improve relationships that were sometimes not as well as they are today. You had a steady hand for us throughout the years. You maneuvered us through some critical phases. One of them I mentioned earlier was when you came to the city, we were in the middle of revamping the WAF leases, and we were walking down a path that you helped in the end to finalize, and that was critical for us, and it was helpful for us, and it established again, I believe, contemporary relationships between us and our friends on the wall. You were also there for things that were kind of taboo until then, because we needed to reinvest into the infrastructure, and you were willing to go into not so popular tax measures. And Measure P directly traces back to you and also other council members, but your support was important that you gave us, and with that you helped also create a majority for this tax measure. Nobody really knew exactly what was going to happen, and you asked me the other day, why did we only do 4 years, Hans, the first time around? And I told you, well, they don't trust us yet. And you said, well, I said, that's why we did then the second one with 9 years. And I explained to you why it was 9 and not 10, but I'm not telling the public that. This is an incredible amount of money that we are getting right now that has left its marks in all the neighborhoods. We were required by you and by the council get the money into the neighborhoods, and we keep doing it throughout the years, and we'll continue doing it. And then last but not least, and I just picked 3 because you asked me to be brief, we had you also at the helm together with our colleagues from the council to maneuver through COVID. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have somebody like Mayor Clyde at the helm, who knows the neighborhood, who has his ears on the ground, and who can tell a city manager, city staff, and his colleagues where the issues were. And that was absolutely necessary during those critical times, and you provided significant support. The last item I want to say is that impressed me the most also was you left a mark also on climate change, climate action. You made it always clear to everyone, and sometimes even publicly, the best housing policies don't help us if our planet is burning under our feet. And I paraphrase you here, but you focused us also on the bigger pictures always that we have to deal. We have to deal with all the topics that are confronting our city and our society. But climate change, climate action is probably one of the largest ones that we are trying to work in our little microcosmos here with. And you have some guests here tonight that can tell you probably way more how important it is to work on climate change. So with that, Mayor Clyde, we want to say goodbye to you and wish you well. We will not follow a certain speaker protocol here, so there are no Rosenberg rules or Brown Act rules right now. It's kind of the attorney gave us off today. So we will have a few folks that will be speaking. But I wanted to first and foremost do a few gifts for you, because I know you're just waiting to fill your garage with that.
Now, I will tell you, Hans, with the city attorney giving us the night off for the Brown Act, that's precedent. You can't top that one.
I know. And, I know this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So first and foremost, nobody could do the job that you are doing if it wouldn't be for a strong partner at the home front. And our friend, your wife, Dottie, has been a steadfast supporter of you for also quite some years now. I always fondly remember my first tree lighting ceremony, and I want to say 26 years ago, and I still remember the shout out, "No, the First Lady of Monterey," or something like that, Clyde Roberson will sing. And Clyde was singing at the tree lighting ceremony, and I was thinking, oh, what comes now? And it was the most beautiful evening for me, and it showed me what the city is all about. And I want to thank Clyde for helping our mayor to be who he is and to make him successful and to be there for him. And we have a little gift for you as well. A few weeks ago, we met with the whole city staff and the remaining council, and we took a picture with you and Dottie in front of Colton Hall. And we all stood there. I think about 100, 150 folks showed up for that photo event, and so we'll give you here this photo that we really hope you will hang in your studies, that we will still watch. So.
Isn't that great? Yeah. I must say that I was a bit overwhelmed when I saw the folks who turned out for that photo.
Then
they did it all for you, Di.
Then we went into the archives and we looked up the different photographs that we have in the archives, and we can show a few of those. Laurie probably knows where they are. Here is the mayor when he was sworn in as mayor in 1983.
Is he wearing a tie there?
Yes, he's wearing a tie. But I'd like to point out on the right-hand side is the groundbreaking for Monterey Bay Boat Works. This was a former landfill site, and there's now where Monterey Boat Works is with all the lifts and the other things. And you see the mayor showed up in a sweater. And on the left-hand side, you see the proud owners of both works, all in dark suits with a little flower in on their coat. And the gentleman to the right, laughing already, heartfelt laughing, is Leon Panetta. And you see him there. So that's Mayor Clyde speaking at Monterey Bay Boatswork Groundwork. And if we can take a check. They told me actually I look like Bob Barker when I hold it like that. But we had so the next, can we see the next? I think that's.
Tell them to be sure to neuter their pets, okay?
Yeah, so that's basically here in the photo book where we have a lot of photos, and you will be surprised how many speeches you were holding, because we have a lot of photos with you and making speeches.
Thank you.
So another steadfast partner over the many Zoom meetings that we had over the past years was sometimes when the mayor was turning off the sound, because there was always an excuse what his little dog was doing in the background. And frankly, she was just barking, but it was either the mailman or there was a noise at the door or something unusual happened. So we want to not forget Gracie. I want to thank Gracie for her partnership and for her loyalty. And so we have a little goodie basket here, and it's not for Sasha. I'm glad that the mayor-elect has a dog as well, but this is just for Gracie, and we hope that she remembers us fondly as well. The official gift that every mayor gets when he retires is the crystal gavel on a little plaque, and you might not have gotten it, or you might have forgotten about it. But yes. And last but not least, Mayor, we will start with some folks that are here to honor you. You see them sitting to your left.
Yeah.
But the first is I want to read into the record, a congressional record that Congressman Panetta read into the London 17th Congress, second session, honoring Mayor Clyde Roberson. And Jimmy Panetta read this into the record on the floor of the Congress. Madam Speaker, I rise today to recognize Mr. Clyde Roberson on the occasion of his retirement as mayor of the city of Monterey. Mr. Roberson enters retirement after nearly 3 decades of leadership on the Monterey City Council, including 6 terms as mayor, and his legacy of public service is one of unwavering devotion to improving the lives of others. Born in Oakland, California, Mr. Roberson began his career as a teacher, starting in 1968. Mr. Roberson spent 35 years teaching in Monterey, working alongside students, parents, and fellow community members. After encouragement from the community, he founded the Monterey Sports Center, filling a need for an indoor swimming facility and gymnasium. Mr. Roberson also established the Neighborhood and Community Improvement Program in 1985. Since its founding, he has coordinated over $90 million in funding for residential streets, storm drains, sewers, parks, and infrastructure projects. Through his work with the Historical Preservation Committee and his support of the hotel moratorium, he has overseen the restoration of historic structures and preventing overdevelopment on the Monterey coastline, helping preserve the Central Coast's unique heritage and environment. Mr. Roberson's tireless service to the people of Monterey and his commitment to improving the city's infrastructure defined his 6 terms of service as mayor of Monterey. Through his partnership with the mayors for 100% clean energy and support the Central Coast Community Power for Renewable Energy and the Regional Climate Action Compact, Mr. Roberson emboldened California's commitment to sustainable and renewable sources of energy. Madam Speaker, I ask my colleagues in the House of Representatives to join me in recognizing Mr. Clyde Roberson for his decades of immeasurable service to his community. On behalf of California's 20th Congressional District, I extend my personal appreciation to Mayor Roberson for his leadership and innovative efforts in serving the people of Monterey.
things that would make me jump in the car in Sacramento and drive directly to Monterey. But this is one. And we have a special tie, which is that it was said earlier that Clyde was elected to the city council in 1981. Well, so was I. And Clyde was elected mayor in 1983, and so was I. And I should add, Mayor Clyde, much to our dissatisfaction, both those elections happened before the mayor-elect was born. And I think the great thing is we were considered upstarts at the time.
Yeah.
Both coming from a different career in public service to do it, which you kept doing as teacher. And while you were doing Window of the Bay, we were developing the park at Lighthouse Field. We were both working together for the Monterey Bay Sanctuary. You were working on the trail as we were doing a similar thing. And it was sort of a team effort around real things that really made a difference. And I don't think either one of us knew the amount of time we would be spending on climate change later in the same public service career. And you were just some of the things that I think people in the room now take completely for granted, such as the Neighborhood and Community Improvement Program. That was initiated during your first time as mayor. And it's something that is just an institution in Monterey. And you started the process for the Monterey Sports Center. And as I mentioned, the trail. So there are many things that you leave as a legacy. I'm sure somebody's passing out because you're leaving office. But the real thing is that you were teaching for 35 years. And I think nobody knows how hard it is to get almost no remuneration for what people believe is a full-time job, and to be carrying a job at the same time in doing it. And in your case, both of them were amazing public service. And so I just wanted to make a point of being here. And I particularly loved the last 2 years, being able to call you about pressing issues and say, this is what we're doing. He would say, this is what we need, and just fit together like old times in making sure that for our common constituents, we did the right thing. And I just really want to make a point of saluting you for such a long, wonderful career of service, and I'm really glad Dottie got recognized because I know what a partner she has been in that. And so on behalf of the state senate, and clearly this last year we have a better budget than you have. On behalf of the state senate, we actually commend Clyde for his exemplary leadership as mayor of Monterey, a member of the city council, his outstanding record in the community, his civic leadership, and extend sincere best wishes for the so-called retirement, because you and I have raced to see who has had the most retirement parties throughout our career. And I think you're moving one up today. So I just want to congratulate you and really want to make a point of being here for just an incredible career of service. Thank you on behalf of everybody.
Senator John Laird was speaking. He was the mayor of Santa Cruz. I don't know if you admit that. And we were here in Monterey. And I'm always so impressed when the senator always says, say hello to Dottie. I said, well, how do you remember her name with all of the people that he's met? Well, that was his mother's name. That's so special to me. So again, thanks, John. It's been a good ride. All right. And you didn't, that wasn't a hint of a retirement announcement from you, I don't think.
Oh, no. We'll be hearing another kind of announcement in the next year or so.
Okay. Well, we do have an open mic, and
Sorry, first of all, neither of you are retiring, I don't believe that. But,
Now, everybody knows you, but if you would like to tell us who you are, or I would be my honor.
I'm Julie Packard, Director of the Monterey Bay Brand, and on behalf of our whole team, like where would I start? But I was doing a little math, realized I was 28
Oh,
when, and you don't have to reveal how old you were back then, when we first started working together on the Monterey Bay Parade, and for those who were involved over those years, you know, it was a big project and a lot of really complicated permits. I mean, the city of Monterey was only the beginning.
mm-hmm.
But I just can't say enough. You have been a remarkable public servant. I mean, you, and the job has just gotten harder and harder, more and more complexities, and the same goes to your fellow council members. I can't imagine how much time you all have put in your, you know, along with your day job. But I just wanted to say that we're all so grateful for all of your support over all these many years, the tough times, the really dicey, you know, negotiations around parking, and I mean, I have this memory of you finally at some point, like you were I was having to, you know, put together a meeting between you and my father, and having a meeting with my father was never a good thing. Even for me as his daughter, but I'll never forget, you rode your bike, and probably wearing a sweater, you went to the meeting, and I just thought, I love that. This man has got a lot of confidence. He is not afraid of anything. So I hope that you feel proud of the aquarium. As I mean, really, it's your legacy and all of the amazing city staff that work so hard to put together. And we have a little gift for you as a memento of which is a jelly sculpture by Rick Satava, California artist. Just a reminder, Monterey Bay Aquarium has put jellies and so many other animals on the map for the world. It all happened here, and you all helped make that legacy happen. So thank you so very much. We're eternally grateful and wish you well.
Thank you. Oh, the stories we could tell, right? But we are so grateful for the aquarium, and I'm sure we have some wharf folks here and business people, and they can remember pre-aquarium when October, November, December, January, the city of Monterey was a ghost town. And not only do you have an ecological and environmental institution, you've really been an economic driver for us too, so we're really grateful for that. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Colleen Courtney, and I work for Monterey County Supervisor Mary Adams.
Yes, hi Colleen. So, in person?
In person.
We've
yes.
Zoomed, and if that happens to you, you all of a sudden you've Zoomed so many meetings and you see someone in person, oh!
Yes, I'm no longer a box.
You're right.
So Supervisor Adams could not be here today, but she wrote a letter that she'd like for me to read on her behalf. So, my dear Mr. Mayor, it is with deep respect and admiration that I thank you and applaud your many years of commitment and service to the people of the city of Monterey, and indeed to the people of Monterey County as a whole. Your dedication has resulted in a community that fosters excellent international relations, achieves national renown, leads local initiatives, and prospers beyond expectation. Your ability to partner with other jurisdictions on problem solving and your visionary approach to regional solutions leaves a lasting legacy. From my personal perspective, I am grateful that you have always been so gracious with your time and your willingness to brainstorm immediate or potential problems. While there are many things I could say about you, it would be a loss not to mention your wonderful sense of humor and your keen insight into how to dispel tension in a meeting. And we've both seen some tension in some meetings. Clyde, I knew Dottie before I knew you. The League of Women Voters produced some amazing women, and you were fortunate enough to win the heart of one of the best. present is filled with goodness, kindness, and a pure heart, the future will surely be bright. Thank you for all you have done for our community. You set a high benchmark for all of us. And speaking for Monterey County as a whole, I know we are a better people because of you. Sincerely, Mary Adams.
The Monterey County Board of Supervisors, our esteemed Chair Adams wasn't here today, but your former Chair, Wendy Root Askew, and we've approved a resolution, another thing for you to throw on your wall. And I will just say personally, the kind of collaboration that you model is a constant reminder for me and for everyone that I work with that we can achieve great things when we're working together, when we do it with kindness and with love and with care for our community. And as a kid who went to school here in Monterey, thank you for your leadership and thank you for creating this community that I get to raise my own family in here.
Thank you, Wendy. And our last speaker was Wendy Root Askew, our 4th District Supervisor. So glad you're here. Thank you. We're going to welcome former council member Carl Outzen and one of my very best friends.
I think we need to go back to, can I take these one?
Well, not technically, but as the vice mayor.
So maybe we lean a little bit. That was in 1981 when you asked me and a couple of other neighbors to come up to your house. You would like to talk to us about being a possible candidate for city council. And we had a good meeting that night, and it ended up with a Bill Hyler asked for collection. So you became the mayor. I mean, the council member, right? A couple years after, that was in 1983, you decided at that time that to run for mayor back in Jerry 5. And Clyde, I went into my archives a little bit, and I have a full page of advertising.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to see it, and I kept that one. At that time, the newspaper was a little bit different than today. It was more neighborhood and city-oriented, and we was concerned about the cities in the area where they had the newspaper, not only Monterey, but Pacific and so forth. So at that time, you said when you ran for mayor that some of your commitment to the city would be, and the principles. And Clyde, through the years, you have always kept those principles. You said in 1983, at some points, more attention from City Hall to the needs of the neighborhoods. First priority of city services to local residents. Opposition to overdevelopment and its harmful effects on our city. Final, fiscal responsibility. Tax money for serving the people, not speculative real estate ventures. Equal treatment for Monterey citizens. There's just a few, and you know what, you never changed. You've always been a champion for the residents and the people of Monterey. There will be some of those tremendous things which we can be happy for today, which went on to under your leadership, like in Preservation Monterey, we formed a Historic Preservation Commission. They never had Preservation Commission, they never had before. And the neighborhood programs that came to, at that time, there was 4 neighborhoods associations in Monterey. Later on, we had 11 under your leadership, and every single one endorsed you every time you ran for the city elected office. So I could go on, I have a couple of pages, but I know there will be more speakers. So I just want to say thank you from my heart to the service of the city of Monterey.
Thank you, Carl.
I am Bill Watkowski. My wife Kathy and I have known Clyde and Dottie since 1984 when I was appointed Director of Community Development for the City of Monterey. Clyde was mayor at that time, and right after my appointment, he called me and he directed me to buy the house across the street. He said we could walk across the street and discuss planning matters in complete violation of the Brown Act. He didn't say that. In priority, Clyde has been my friend, my neighbor, my tennis partner, and as well as the mayor of Monterey. Thank you for all you have done. It would take too long to list all your accomplishments, but some of the major ones, the NIP, the hotel moratorium, the sports center, window on the bay, the rec trail. Clyde and Dottie and Kathy and I live on a small street via Gayula, which is changing quite a bit over the last 5 to 10 years. Every new household that goes to Clyde. They ask about plumbing, they ask about this kind of permit, that kind of permit. So Clyde, although you will no longer be the mayor of Monterey, you will always be the mayor of Villa Gayula.
Welcome, Mayor.
Well, thank you. For those of me, I know me, name's Ian Oglesby, Mayor of the City of Seaside. I want to say, congratulate Clyde on a wonderful career. When I didn't know you were first sworn in or elected mayor in 1983, I was born then. I think I was just getting out of high school, and since then, 2 careers in retirement, and then finally community service. And I wanted to acknowledge your second go around because I missed the first one. And that's really why I'm up here today, is to acknowledge the second one as mayor of Monterey. I know, for me, when you first got elected again as mayor, I thought it was, your service to the community, but also the citizens saying they needed a steady hand, they needed a calm, cool, collected person that knew what they were doing. That's what I always thought. And then I had the opportunity to meet you, and I knew they made the right decision. I knew that that's what they wanted because that's what you always showed yourself to me to be, and the rest of the mayors on the peninsula, particularly in our Mayors Association group. I want to say thank you for that because your cool, calm collectedness has always been something I watch, and I try to take lessons from you to be a better mayor as you are a mayor of Monterey. And for those that don't know, we appointed you to the Water Management District, and after every meeting, Clyde did a little summary, more like a little book report, to let us know what's going on at that meeting. And that's very unusual. As mayors, we tend not to come back and tell people what we're doing. But I just wanted to be here to acknowledge you, to say that you and Dottie, what you guys have done for this community, this county, this region, just remarkable. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being a friend to the rest of the mayors. And just you as an individual will be hard pressed to recreate. You will be missed in our group. And I know the citizens of Monterey feel the same thing. And I just wanted to say from my heart, and I shared this with you before, we really appreciate you and what you've been doing for your decades of service here in the city of Monterey and the region as a whole. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, I want to thank you for the great letter that you wrote to the Coastal Commission and any staff and council that was involved. I want you to know that we did get over 1,700 signed signatures on petitions for this.
Yeah.
And it was a dwarf group effort, except for one person. And I just want to thank you, and I've known you for a long time, and I wouldn't miss this. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, John.
think you might be heading out, and so I might not be able to give my public appreciation for you, Clyde, later today, but I remember when I first met you, I think it was 2016, there was a reception over at MISS that we went to afterwards, and I had the opportunity to socialize with you and Dottie. And I've met mayors before, but there was something special about my interaction with you and Dottie. You were so personable and relatable and humble. And I am just so honored to have been able to eventually get elected to the council and serve with you. I sat right next to you, and that's where you came up with the phrase senior millennial that will stay with me forever. And so I love you, Clyde. I will always remember our Sunday breakfasts once a month with you and Dottie, and I love you both dearly. So thank you so much for all your service.
And we might not be able to do once a month with how busy you're going to be. We definitely need to reinstate our occasional get-togethers. They were just really a highlight with you and Ivan and Sasha. We have 3 or 4 favorite pictures of my wife holding Sasha at a restaurant. And Sasha's just licking her face, and Dottie is just exploding with joy. So, yeah.
Clyde, there's so many things I appreciate about you, but I wanted to share a couple. First of all, in case you all can't tell, Clyde likes to tell stories, and I've learned a lot from those stories. They're also always very interesting and entertaining. Clyde also likes to tell jokes, and what I especially appreciate is he sometimes even laughs at my jokes, which is always nice. And then I just, being on a council, we sometimes get invited to events, and there was, I think it was the 50th anniversary for Community Human Services. And Tyler and I were there, and you were there with Dottie. And after dinner, there was music, but not a whole lot of people were dancing. And I think Tyler and I went out there, and and then we went, and you and Dottie came out and danced with us. And then pretty soon everybody came out. And it was just such a really wonderful time. And then finally, just in terms of your leadership, I really appreciate your capacity for listening. And you've heard from community members and how, listening to the neighborhoods is a priority, but I also appreciated that you listened to us and that you came to meetings open to change and open to persuasion. And thank you very much for your service and for the example of leadership you've given to all of us.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you for everybody who came to talk and share your stories, and they are so numerous, and every one of them is good. In these last 8 years of being on the city council, there's several takeaways, and I don't want to repeat what's already been said, but I want to highlight a phrase that I think coined everything about Clyde, where he's able to get to the meat of the matter and able to go through the agenda and listen to everyone, but his phrase, "Don't let perfect get in the way of good," always resonated with me. It always comes in handy when there's 4 others and the mayor is trying to navigate and run a meeting, and we're trying to get to the ultimate vote. And as Alan has said, it's not just push through and just be satisfied with getting a vote, but it's more being careful how we craft together policy that can be understood and interpreted, and always appreciated your wisdom in regards to that. The other thing that many people don't see is what happens with closed session. And you certainly know we have a council meeting and then we go into closed session to deal with legal matters or personnel and contracts and of the sort. He's a master. He's good in a regular council meeting, but he's really good in closed session because of his experience and his ability to be efficient and get through the the complicated things that has to happen in closed session. So you're gonna be missed. We greatly appreciate you, your skill set, and what you bring to the city. And we all know, as you heard tonight, that you were revered and honored. And this is not a wink. He is not going anywhere. He has promised to still be involved, and we look forward to those occasions where the entire community gets to be able to still be your friend and still spend time with you and Dottie. And we thank you so much for all you have done.
Well, I'm just so very thankful for all of you being here and your kind words. I have to tell you, well, Gracie's package. So we have a little rat terrier, and she's extraordinarily alert. So every time we have a Zoom meeting, I'm upstairs, and all of a sudden you can hear Gracie in the background with this shrill rat terrier voice. So I have to mute it. So during the Coastal Commission hearing on the desal plant, Cal-Am's desal plant, I was going to be one of the speakers. So we got to the public speakers, and Gracie was somewhere in the house. So I saw that Supervisor Askew spoke, then Mary Adams, and I saw I was next, so I unmuted. And so, you know what happened, but did you hear it? So our dog starts yipping her head off, and I got, and so they muted me because I had unmuted myself. So Gracie made the Coastal Commission hearing. My granddaughter asked me one day, what are your mayor benefits? And that was a really good question. And the second question she asked, it still gets my heart, it is, are you still going to have time for us? Because we have 5 grandkids, now 3 in college, next year 5 will be in college, and probably the question is for my wife and I to say to them, will you have time for us? So you know, when I think back, the mayor benefits, it's all about people like you in this room. It's all teamwork. Of course, my wife Dottie, who's my friend, my advisor, very patient, and it's really helpful to have someone at home who can say, yeah, you're on the right track, or say, no, you aren't on the right track. And have somebody who can tell you that you really need to relook at things. And so I appreciate that so much from her. My daughter Jennifer is here, and her husband Javier. Thank you both for being here. And my daughter too, the first time I was on the council and mayor, she was in middle school. I won't say how old you are because they'll be able to figure out how old you are now. They're both teachers. They're both working in Seaside and Alisal, and working with children who are English language learners who have lots of challenges. And so Senator Larry was talking about the teachers, and so I just want to acknowledge them. A teacher family, my mother, my uncles, my brother, his wife, another daughter. It's just, it's in the genes, and I told the grandkids you're going to be teachers. No, we're not. It's in your DNA, so we'll see. And I want to think about the active, authentic public, and all of the giving, empathetic, this is my adjectives, you know about my adjectives. I'll give you my list, Tyler, if you want it. And the empathetic nonprofits who care so much about our city, that was mentioned. Our altruistic volunteers, dedicated commissioners. I had the pleasure of interviewing them and bringing them to the council for recommendations. Without fail, whether someone was new to the city, was born and raised here, they said they wanted to give back. Then our illustrious elected officials going way back, and their staffs. And of course, the caring members on our city council over the years. I've also already mentioned Dan, but I wanted to congratulate and mention energetic, passionate Tyler Williamson. And he said we met 6 years ago. It was instant rapport, and we still have it. We must be related somehow or another, because we just I enjoy your sense of humor, your passion. You've taught me a lot, and I've moved on a lot of issues, as Alan pointed out. and how caring you are. And congratulations to our impressive new member from New Monterey and Old Town, Dr. Kim Barber. And she's here and will be sworn in shortly, and I had the pleasure of meeting her, and I'm so happy you and your husband are here. And then our intelligent, insightful council member Ed Smith, friend, supporter, with his excellent public safety background and common sense. And our perceptive council member Alan Hoffa. As he mentioned, consensus, yet he has very strong commitments to issues. And he's really a good motion maker. Bringing everybody together. And of course, our business, our hospitality, and military committees, we're really complicated. Someone asked me once at a talk, if they were a delegation from the EU, and said, how many people in your city? And I said, about 30,000. And they said, what? Because look, there's another speech that's very complicated city, but we have our business and our hospitality and our military communities. And we have a really impassioned youth who give me hope all the time. And we have a really amazing, competent, sterling, professional staff over all the years. So I'm so grateful for our staff, starting with the city manager throughout the entire staff. Our Monterey PD, thank you for being here. They are paradigms of community policing and really role models throughout the country. So I'm very appreciative to everyone for the teamwork, your devotion to our city. And as was kind of intimated, I'm going to be trying to get more active in climate action, because we really need to step up. And to keep our small town feeling that we have. It's been all about working together and teamwork and relationships and cooperation and collaboration and connection and friendships. It's really nice to think that your colleagues throughout the city are your friends as well. We often talk about a city family. That's true. Monterey is very special that way. So I love this city, and I will continue to be around and work with you to take care of it going forward. So thank you, team.